Hello and a very warm welcome to yet another fabulous edition of the program CSE Weekly, a weekly program that keeps you abreast on the activities and achievements of the Corporate Affairs Commission. And my name is Rashid Mahi. Coming up, focus on company meetings, plus RGCSE re-echoes appeal to entities to file their annual returns. We will be right back.
Starting a business can be exciting, but it often comes with a mountain of paperwork and significant bureaucracy. But wait, there is an easier and better way. Introducing the new and highly improved CAC's Company Registration Portal, your AI-powered solution to effortlessly register your company and get started on your entrepreneurial and business journey. Thanks to the visionary leadership of Hussaini Ishaq Magaji, SAN, the Registrar General CEO of the Corporate Affairs Commission, your entrepreneurial and business journey will now be faster, smarter, and hassle-free. With our intelligent AI platform, your business registration journey has become easier. During this first phase of our three-phase deployment of AI, the AI CRP expedites your name availability process, as well as the company registration itself. The AI guides you step by step, ensuring everything is done correctly, with real-time error checking and name suggestions, making it cost-effective for you to achieve name availability and instant registration. Join the future of business registration. Visit www.pre.cac.gov.ng today.
Welcome back. And we begin with compliance matters. The Registrar General CEO of the Corporate Affairs Commission, Hussaini Ishaq Magaji, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, has re-echoed his appeal to registered entities to ensure prompt payment of their annual returns to avoid being struck off. The Registrar General made the appeal when he received a Canadian High Commission delegation on a courtesy visit to the Commission. Hussaini Magaji stressed that their ability to abide by the provisions of the Companies and Allied Matters Act, 2020 was crucial to their success. Earlier, the leader of the delegation, Migration Program Manager, Cindy Goulet, said they were in the Commission to, amongst others, further cement the existing relationship to ensure economic growth. And from bilateral relations, we take you straight to our interview segment to talk about meetings. Company meetings may come in form of shareholders meeting or directors meeting, statutory meeting, annual general meeting, and extraordinary general meeting, amongst others. Our guest today is Tolulope Adeola Shonaike, Head of Compliance Department, and is on hand to x-ray company meetings. I'm sure you missed him. Sit back, relax, and enjoy watching.
Mr. Tolulope Shonaike, Head of Compliance. Many thanks for joining us after a long time.
Thank you very much, Madam.
Okay, do we say congratulations? In arrears or in advance? Which one?
Well, I guess congratulations to you. Well, thank you.
Okay, sir, it's good to have you again.
Yeah.
All right, so today we'll be discussing meetings. I know it's an area we've touched before now, but because people need to know just how important holding meetings are. But let's start from the very important. Just how important for companies to hold meetings.
Well, it's very important that companies do it. Just, as in any other endeavor that a man undertakes, where you have more than three people, and you have a common purpose. From time to time, you need to sit down and review progress. Review strategies, decide how you proceed, for the common goal. So, because these are different persons working with different mandates, but at the end of the day, we are all working towards the same purpose. It's so important to companies also, for them to successfully realize their objectives, their mandate, prosecute their local objects. From time to time, it provides a platform, usually for all stakeholders to come together and review what has been done so far, and also agree what should be done going forward. And there may also be issues that will need attention.
Okay.
You want to address these issues and then move forward. So meetings are very, very important to companies. and companies meet at different levels.
Okay. Before we go to those levels, what exactly do people discuss during these meetings? Is it the one of when we meet, hey, what's up, how far, what did you eat, and all of that?
No. Depends on the kind of meetings, right?
Corporate meetings, is that?
Yes, and different kinds of meetings that a company may hold, right? And the reasons for calling the meeting.
Okay.
Right. There are those that are you must call, that are statutory, you must call, you must hold, right? 2 of them for companies. The third one is as you deem it, as it becomes necessary for you to make.
Okay.
Sometimes those are the kind of things you refer to in the boardroom as emergency meetings, but it's another name under the law for companies.
Okay.
Right? No emergency meetings will arise as the need arises.
Yes.
But there are those that are scheduled that they must hold at so and so times. There are also same manner there are in the law, meetings that the company must hold at particular times. So and then for all those others that are started that must hold at particular times, there are issues that you ordinarily would discuss, and there are issues that you can also discuss outside the ordinary, which you call special issues.
Okay.
Right. For instance, we are talking about what you know as the annual general meeting. Right. There are issues that are just basic. We call them ordinary businesses.
Okay.
For instance, if it's a public company, every public company is expected to have what you call an audit committee.
Okay.
So at every annual general meeting, you want to appoint audit committee members. Auditors must present papers and their reports to that meeting. They have looked at the books of the company. They must form an opinion and let the meeting know that, well, your books and your reporting policy, your reporting practice conform with the prescribed standards or not. So you want to take the report of the auditors. You also want to fix their remuneration. Right? These are ordinary businesses. You want to appoint directors in place of those that are retired. Because by law, every year, a third of the directors are supposed to retire by rotation. Right? Except the articles forbid that. Say no. For our case, we don't want that to happen. But standard, that's what should happen if your articles do not provide otherwise. So you want to also appoint directors in place of those directors. You want to receive the annual report of the directors. Right. So these are things that.
But these ones are for big companies, isn't it?
No.
For very big companies. Not a company that has just 1 or 2
in fact,
members.
Except for a small company, right? Companies are expected to have it AGM.
Okay.
Right. It's only small company that company with a single shareholder. Those are people that are exempted from having annual general meetings because the scale of their operations may not be complex. I mean, in the case of small companies. In the case of a company with a single shareholder, you can't meet with himself. So you understand?
No, but you will need to meet with customers if he wants a good feedback.
Well, again, that is not the statutory meetings.
Okay, that's under this law,
That is now your stakeholder management.
Okay.
But when you talk about company meetings, you're talking about certain company owners.
Okay.
Together with company managers.
Okay.
And then the other principal officers that are relevant to management of the company. So those are the people we're talking about.
What type of meetings do CAMA 2020 specify as far as companies are concerned?
Well, it's still the same meetings that were specified under 1990.
Okay. So there was no change?
No.
Okay.
But there have been reforms to how the proceedings may go.
Okay.
But the meetings are still the same. You have, for companies, you have 3 major kinds of meetings.
Okay.
Right, 3. And then you can then have under them some other meetings that are
sub meetings.
Yes, by delegation.
Okay.
That derive their own authority from the mainstream.
Okay.
Now the first one is what you call statutory meetings.
Okay.
Now statutory meetings apply only to companies that are registered as public limited liability.
Okay, the
PLCs.
Okay.
So the law prescribes that within the first 6 months of their registration, their incorporation, they must meet. So that is one kind of statutory meeting.
Okay.
You must hold it. And where failure to hold it attracts penalty against that company. And this penalty is in form of a daily penalty accrued by the day. Right. Now, there's the other one that we are more commonly used to. AGMs, annual general meetings.
Yes.
Some of us
That's the ones that are very popular.
Yes, some of us have attended. If you have shares in public companies, for instance. I know that when I was way younger, I think I just I was just getting to university then. I had to go and represent my uncle at one of them. That was my first experience with general meeting. So there's that one. And that one, the law requires that every year, the company should hold a meeting to be known as its annual general meeting.
Okay.
Except for the year of incorporation.
Okay.
Because the company has 18 months before you hold your each year annual general meeting. Again, if you are registered in the year, right, your 18 months may lapse into the other year. So you may find situations where you don't hold your meeting in that year of registration, even in the year after.
Okay.
For instance, if I register in November 2024,
so it means though
I still have up to April 2026.
To have your meeting.
My first 8 year.
Okay.
And at that general meeting, there are things I have to consider. There are even papers and documents that must be ready for my consideration, for our consideration at the meeting. So you have that annual general meeting. Every year, there must be a meeting you hold that you must, that is known as annual general meeting for that year.
Okay.
That's another meeting. That's the second meeting.
Okay.
Now, there is a third one of the company.
Okay.
And that is the extraordinary general meeting. Now,
that's when there's a new,
when there's a
pressing matter. Okay.
Right? You may not be able to wait till the next annual general meeting, right, to resolve these issues and to take decisions to progress the company operations and all that. So directors can complain.
Okay.
And any member, right, whether by himself or with some other persons constituting a particular percentage, of shareholding, can also complain. Or for a company that does not have shares, for instance, a company by guarantee, they don't have shares. Their limitation, their liabilities as guaranteed. So, but voting rights are also tied to this qualifying threshold.
Okay.
So you can have 10% of the people that have voting rights in the company. Maybe it's one person of the number of persons coming together to form that number. They can also call for that meeting. As the need arises, we feel there are issues that we need to attend to, please. You can requisition the meeting. Now, those are the 3 meetings that companies hold. Okay. Now, when we talk about these ones, about company meetings, now we're talking about meetings where shareholders are. Present. When you say a company, you're talking about the people.
So, but for those companies limited by guarantee who do not have shareholders,
yes, they have.
So, what happens? They have members.
Yes, when you talk about meetings of companies, you're talking about meetings of the members
of the company. Okay.
All right.
Not staff.
Not staff. Well, of course, for the meeting to effectively hold, you need some principal staff members to be there.
Okay.
Because of the role they play.
Okay.
You needed to be there.
What kind of role are they playing?
For instance, if you have the auditor, he should be in attendance.
Okay.
Your secretary, for instance,
should be
in attendance.
Okay.
Your directors should be in attendance. Because some directors may not be shareholders.
Okay.
And some may be shareholders. Because this meeting you are holding is to provide a platform. For instance, we talk about the annual general meeting. It's a platform for the owners of the company who are the shareholders to sit down with the managers who are the directors.
Okay.
To review what has happened
over the year.
For that period, reporting period, right? Yeah. What has happened? So you take reports, you rub minds, right? And then you consider things and take decisions also.
Okay.
It is at such meetings, for instance, that you may decide that, okay, you know what? There's a need for us to recapitalize or to inject new funds. And by the way we can do this, you know what? Just go to approach the regulators, get necessary approvals. Let us create shares and sell shares. Public offers. Let us offer security to the public shares and they buy. That's what you see when you get them go to SEC, for instance, and give them the approval. They go to the market for listed companies and they raise capital. These are some of the things that some of the decisions that you take there. For instance, ongoing recapitalization for banks and all of that. When you say meeting of the company, these are the meetings.
Not town hall meeting or community meeting.
No. But there are other meetings that you don't call general meetings of the company. Meetings of the companies are called general meetings. So whether it's a statutory meeting, it's a general meeting. Whether it's an annual one, it's a general meeting. Whether it's an extraordinary one, it's a general meeting.
But what other ones?
You have meetings that are not of the company, but are of the managers of the company. For instance, the meeting of the board of directors. That's another organ, for the management of the company. Companies are managed at different organs. You have the company itself at general meeting. Now we're talking about members. Then you have the directors of the company meeting. That's another organ of the company.
Then you have the board.
That's the board.
Okay.
Directors together form the board.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then you have the third one, which derives authorities, legitimacy from the board.
Okay.
And that's what you call committees of the board. So the law allows the board to delegate its powers, right, to committees.
Okay.
Or to the MD. You know, committees composed of itself, its own members, or its members are not some other persons. You know, so because it's not easy, you cannot tell the directors directly to be running. There are different components to running and different aspects to run the company. You know, so you may have to create committees.
Okay.
Right, of the board
Okay.
that they run, but you must always have the board members as members of that committee. Right. While the board may delegate their powers, the responsibilities resides in them.
Okay. But which one does the law recognize more?
The law recognizes all of them. The Kama recognizes all of them.
Okay.
In fact, the law requires you to keep minute books of all of these classes of meetings.
Okay.
Whether it's a meeting of the company, whether it's a meeting of the board of directors, whether it's a meeting of the committees of the board.
Okay.
You are expected.
Whether it's an extraordinary one, too.
Whether annual or general or annual or extraordinary or statutory, you are expected to maintain what called minute books.
Okay.
In these minute books, you must record the proceedings from each meeting.
Okay.
And then where you have to come and when decisions are taken and they are described as resolutions.
Yeah,
Decisions of companies are decided, described as resolutions.
Okay.
Now there are certain resolutions that the law requires to notify the CAC of.
Okay.
Right? All special resolutions. You must come and file with the CAC.
Okay.
Now there are other non-special resolutions that you call ordinary resolutions. But because of the nature of the transactions, the law still says you must submit those resolutions to the commission.
Okay.
Right? So, for every one of those kinds of meetings, you must keep minute books. If you don't keep minute books, also it's a violation under the law.
What does these minute books look like? Is it like this what do you call this long books?
What do you call? I understand the secondary books and that those ones are talking about.
Yes, the long ones. So what are these books? What do they look like?
There is no statutory form.
Okay.
What matters is the content, the record they are keeping.
Okay.
The law will prescribe what should be in that register.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So some people will produce these minutes and then just bind them and put them in.
Okay.
Right? Some will just plaster them on long span pages and all of that.
Okay.
It doesn't. And in fact, today, because of technology, you can keep this
online and then refer them to
soft copies.
Yes.
You know, and then be able to access and retrieve whatever documents or records are expected to keep on that Kama territory. Same Kama says you may keep them in soft copies, sometimes in addition to the hard copies.
Okay. So what are the timelines for these meetings? I know some you said the general meeting has to be 18 months after you register.
Yeah,
that's for a new company.
Yes.
Okay, but for those, the existing ones.
Okay. Now, for the timelines, for instance, I mentioned for statutory meeting, that you must hold it within the first 6 months. Right? And this only applies to public limited companies.
Okay.
PLCs.
Okay.
It does not apply to private companies.
Okay.
But once you are incorporated, your form of incorporation is as a PLC. Within the first 6 months, not later than the first 6 months of the registration, your incorporation, you must hold the statutory meetings. Okay. So that's the timeline for that. If you hold it outside that time, you are holding it out of time.
Okay, right? And there's penalty for it.
And then CAC cannot extend it. There's a penalty.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the commission cannot extend the time for that.
Okay.
You must hold it within 6 months.
Okay.
Now, for the annual general meeting, right, the law, like I said earlier, says you don't have to hold the first one before earlier than 18 months from the date of
so there's a kind of flexibility, isn't it?
Yes, because you are just coming into business.
Okay.
Right?
So they'll give you all the time that you need.
18 months to hold. And then subsequent for every other year, you must hold one.
Okay.
Now, the timeline for AGMs is such that it should not be more than 15 months from the last one.
Okay.
So if my AGM last year was held in March, the law expects that before the expiration of June this year, end of June this year, I should hold my AGM for this year.
Okay.
However, in the case of annual general meetings, CAC can extend time.
Okay.
So if you find reasons why you cannot hold it within 15 months, You can apply to CAC before the expiration of the 2 months.
Okay.
To say CAC, see, for so and so reason, perhaps, for instance, some PLCs, they will tell you they need some approval from SEC. Banks will say they need their...
the regulators have to do some approval.
Certain things.
Okay.
And until they get those approvals, they cannot go forward with it.
Okay.
So you can tell us, okay, because of this, so we'll extend, but we can only extend for 3 months.
Okay.
We cannot extend for more than 3 months.
Okay.
The idea is that whatever happens, not more than 18 months must pass between the date of the last AGM and the next AGM.
All right. Mr. Tolu Ekwesion, ICANN Head of Compliance. Always a pleasure talking to you,
My
sir.
pleasure to know.
All right.
Thumbs up to Tolulope for that educating segment. And now take a look at this message on the importance of the PSC filing straight from the Registrar General's desk.
Did you know that it is now mandatory by law for companies to declare all persons with significant control of ownership of company to the Corporate Affairs Commission (CAC)? Listen to the Registrar General of the CAC.
By the extant regulation in Nigeria, the identity of the person behind any company must be disclosed.
By virtue of Section 119 and 791 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act of 2020 and the Person with Significant Control Regulations of 2022, the law aims to enhance transparency in corporate ownership across Nigeria.
Any person or any individual with ultimate power or with 5% interest holding must disclose his identity.
Under this law, any company that fails to disclose the beneficial owner of its company or the ultimate person in the company who has influence either directly or indirectly, or the person with 5% shareholding and above or voting rights may face serious consequences.
The law required that any person who assumed that position must disclose that position to that company within 7 days. And the company must communicate same and file same to the Corporate Affairs Commission within 30 days.
The identity of the beneficial owner must be a name of a natural person. Failure to comply attracts daily penalties imposed by law.
If it is a natural person, it attracts 5,000 daily from the date of breach. But if it is a unnatural person, it requires 10,000 from the day of the breach to the day of compliance, and it also attracts administrative penalties by the Corporate Affairs Commission.
The CAC reserves the right to refuse to receive any filings from any non-compliant company or even to list the company from its register. For more details, check the Person with Significant Control website at bor.cac.gov.ng or visit the Corporate Affairs Commission's official website at www.cac.gov.ng. CAC, committed to prompt and efficient service.
What a beautiful delivery there by the Registrar General. And now, do you know that by the provisions of Section 421, subsection 1 of CAMA 2020, the annual return of a company limited by shares or guarantee or unlimited shall be completed, signed and delivered to the Corporate Affairs Commission not later than 42 days after the annual general meeting for the year? So have you updated your records with the Commission? Well done if you have. And if you have yet to do that, please hurry now to www.cac.gov.ng to file your return to avoid being struck off. The CAC remains committed to working hard to provide prompt and efficient service to customers in line with global best practices. And that does it for this week's edition of the program, CAC Weekly. We do hope you enjoyed watching. For comments and inquiries, please take advantage of our social media handles and helpline. On Instagram, the address is Corporate Affairs Commission. Facebook is Corporate Affairs Commission. On X, formerly Twitter, the address is @CAC Nigeria 1. The email address is cservice@cac.gov.ng. And the website address still remains www.cac.gov.ng. And the call center number is 070-80-62-9000. Do join us next week for another interesting edition of the program, same time, same station. From me, Rashid Mahe, and the whole team is bye for now.